This is homework assignment 2.1.1, problem 2-8. The problem states, examine the relation h of x defined at right. Then estimate the values below. So you'll see here the name of this function you see is h of x. You've got your x-axis, you've got your y-axis, and then you'll see this function is running through. This is our actual function, h of x, right? It goes up, then down, and then it goes up, down, and then back up again, and it has arrows on the ends to show it's going, to the left and to the right, and then up and down forever. So when we plug in an input value, they want to know then what is the output value. So as we look at the first one says h of 1, and this simply means when x is 1, what is the y value of that point? So our x coordinate, thinking about it, this is like an ordered pair. This is like the point 1 comma something. We're trying to find the y coordinate. So as we look here on our graph, right, look at our x-axis, right here is where 1 is. And so we want to look at our graph, and it looks like our point is about right there. And I would say that that looks like the output is going to end up being, right, if we take this and we figure out what our y coordinate is, right? So it looks like it would be at 2. So this point right here is at the point 1 comma 2, which means, right, that point 1, 2 would be like saying when we plug in 1, we get 2 as the output. Now let's look at B. Right, for B, it says h of 3. So we're thinking about this one as being, right, when 3 is the input, what is the output? So we find our 3 over here. Here's where 3 is for x. So here is where that point is. Looks like it's way down here. And to me, I guess I would have to estimate and say that might be like -4. Right, so I would say that would be -4. So when 3 is plugged in, -4 comes out. So h of 3 would be -4. And remember, that's an estimation because, there's the arrow there and it's kind of hard to see, but I would have said that's why that would have been -4. Okay, letter C says for us to find x when h of x equals 0. So that means when y is 0, what is the x value at that point? Well, as we trace our graph, right, remember, your x-axis is where all the y values are 0 because you haven't gone up or down at all. So as you're tracing that graph, it looks like you're going to get a few points that have y coordinates of 0. So if we tried to figure out what those are, right, this one looks like it would be at -5, right, because this point is the point -5, 0. This point right here is the point -2, 0. This point is the point 0, 0. Here we have the point 2, 0. And then this one, I guess, would probably be the point 4, 0. So what would the value of x be? Well, it looks like it could have multiple values, right? It could be any of those x coordinates. Because if I said h of -5, right, we know that that output could be 0 because of that point here, -5, 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to list out all our values of x. We're going to say x could equal -5. We could say, so that was this one. We could say this one, this one, this one, and that one. So we have -5. We've got -2. We have 0. We have 2. And we have 4. And those would be our answers for that one. On to letter D. Now it's back to giving us an input and wanting an output. It says h of -1. So when we put in -1, what is the output going to be? Well, here's where -1 is. Maybe change the color so you can see it, right? Here's where -1 is, the red mark there. So when we look at the graph, this point down here, it has a x-coordinate of -1, and then it looks like its y-coordinate is going to end up being probably, looks like -2. So we have, when -1 is plugged in, -2 comes out, which is like the point -1, -2. And then let's look at E. It says when our input is -4, so when x is -4, what is the y value? All right, so as we kind of look at this one, I'll use this one in red again. Here is where -4 is. And if we kind of estimate on our graph, it looks like it goes all the way up to about here, which I'm going to estimate that to be the point -413. So when we plug in -4, we get 13 out. So h of -4 equals 13. All right, this is problem 2-8. If you have additional questions on this one, please make sure you're reaching out.